Houston Texans, Los Angeles Rams, two teams that certainly a lot of people have in their playoff bracket for this upcoming season. Where we starting here? Obviously, I think the whole conversation starts around how healthy Stafford is, but within that and around that, where do you want to start this conversation for this game?
I'm actually going to go to the other side. I could argue that for a Texans offensive line that is absolutely trying to figure out, it looks like it's going to be Ariante Ursary at left tackle. You've got Jake Andrews, the veteran, at center. Titus Howard sounds like he's moving back out to right tackle, where I do think he is better than he is at guard. But either way, this is still a Texans offensive line. We have no idea what we're getting out of him. Howard's the only guy who graded over a 70 last year. This Rams team, the pass rush. I mean, first of all, the talent. Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, Byron Young. I think Josiah Stewart's even going to play a big part down, once we get him rolling into the season here as a designated pass rusher type. And I think the big thing for me, not only is it a talent difference, there's a scheme problem here that I think is very real for the Texans. The Rams, when they stunt, and that not only do they just let these guys fly, but when they stunt and they loop and they're twisting all over this defensive line, they don't blitz a whole lot. They still send four, but they still get creative with getting these guys open when it comes to getting free rushers at the quarterback. The Rams, when they used a stunt last year, second in the league in pass rush grade, first in pressure rate, first in sack rate, okay? Let's go to the other side with the Texans. The Texans last year were arguably the worst team in football picking up stunts. 24th in pass blocking grade, yeah, that's bad. It's not all the way last, but when you look at the second worst pressure rate and the second highest sack rate given up, when teams get creative up front, and not only is it a physical issue with a lack of talent, and now they don't even have Laramie Tunsil, who's starting a rookie at left tackle from the second round. Now you talk about, okay, the mental mistakes and the lack of cohesion that came in. And you have a new offensive coordinator and Nick Caley trying to coordinate all these protections with a third-year starting quarterback, first year in the system. This is a problem. I mean, and I know we're going to talk about it being a problem, and even it's a problem in the run game. You don't have Joe Mixon for some indefinite amount of time, so it's going to be hard to run the football on him, too, with this O-line and Nick Chubb and Damian Pierce, maybe Woody Marks. I don't know what's going on in the run game here in Houston either, but This is not for week one for this offensive line. Now, here's your first test. Here's Jared Verse and these monsters and the way that Chris Shula schemes it up. This is a problem. This is a real problem up front. There is a chance in this game that they can't protect C.J. Stroud at all. There's a chance. And my panic level in this game for the Texans O-line, I know it's a new unit. They've picked their best five, or at least what they think it is right now. But, boy, I have like 10 out of 10 panic level with that unit this week. This is not the team I'd want to play week one.
Yeah, look, it's a tough matchup week one, but every defensive line in the NFL normally is. Some are a little bit tougher than others. This is definitely near the top of the list. There's no doubt about it. I'll choose to believe in the Texans O-line for now. I liked what I saw throughout the preseason. I think there'll be plenty of time to panic in the future, but I'll choose to believe in it for now. I do think that we're going to be watching a future defensive player of the year in Jared Verse and Will Anderson Jr. I don't know if one of them is going to win it this year, but I think that one of those two guys, if not both of these guys, are going to win it at some point in their career. I think they're very talented. I think this specific 2025 season, it's year 3 for Will Anderson. It's year 2 for Jared Verse. I think it's going to be special for both those guys. I'm sticking on the Texans side of things. You had Derek Stingley Jr. as your pick to win Defensive Player of the Year when we were going through our awards. He's going to be guarding Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, but he can't guard both of them, right? And so now Kamari Lassiter comes into play. Is Kamari Lassiter ready? 72.6 coverage grade last season as a rookie. That's a really good mark for a rookie. If he takes that second step in his second season in the league, now we're talking about somebody who you've got a really great cornerback duo. They have the ability to slow down a pairing that is as daunting as Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. And so to me, I'm looking at Kamari Lassiter because if he is not ready, these are two excellent wide receivers. I mean, Nacua had the highest receiving grade of any receiver last year for us overall, despite missing some time early in the year. And Devontae Adams, for as much as, okay, maybe he's not as athletic as he was earlier in his career, he is so savvy in how he wins. He is such a great route runner. If you are not on your P's and Q's, if you do not have full discipline and focus and technique, he will make you play. Make no mistake. So, is he ready? That is my question here. Is he going to be ready and up to the challenge? Can they shut those two guys down? Because I really like what the Texans have from their passing attack, especially going up against a cornerback room that was shaky for the Rams last season, and they didn't really do anything to change that. And it could just be a bounce back year. We've talked about this before. Corner is very up and down of a position anyway, so maybe they just like the guys and they say, hey, it was a down year for them. They're going to play better this year. But Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, it's one of the best wide receiver quarterback connections in the NFL. I love the Iowa State guys that they drafted. I think Christian Kirk is fitting well into this offense, or at least the early signs have shown that. So I think I'm going to take the Texans in this one, actually. I'm going to take the Texans to win 27-24. It sounds like you got the Rams, because if you don't believe in the Texans offensive line the way that you were talking, I think that you're probably going to have the Rams in this game.
Yeah, the other thing structurally about the Texans defense with Lassiter, whether he's in or out, is that, look, D'Amico Ryans, very much like, say, Robert Saleh with San Fran with the Jets, it's very heavy zone, rush 4, cover 3, cover 4. But since he got, especially once he got Lassiter and realized what he was last year, he's shown more of a willingness to run man-to-man coverage, right? And if you're going to do that, you need Stingley and Lassiter both out there, because Adams is still very good in those one-on-one situations. If you don't have Lassiter out there, I think it's a whole lot more zone. It's a whole lot more of the traditional D'Amico Ryans defense that he uses. And the other thing, too, that I think is a big story, Trev, the Rams are expecting Alaric Jackson to start at left tackle, which
I did see that, which is huge. Which is huge for them.
That's massive. That in this game especially, I mean, you talk about one matchup in one trench. You talk about Jackson hopefully fully healthy and Rob Havenstein against Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. I mean, that's as big time as it gets right there. And we talk about, I've talked about over and over, the Rams' biggest determinant of winning is their pass protection. That's what this game's going to come down to, pass protection, and at times even the quarterbacks protecting themselves, obviously Stafford and Stroud. But I have more faith that the Rams are going to do that. I just think the Rams' offensive line, we've seen it be good when it is healthy, when those 5 starters are out there. I have no idea what the Texans' O-line is. I don't think this is a great matchup. And I think the Rams have a much better shot to run the football than the Texans do. I've actually got the Rams pretty convincingly, 27-17.